Call the roll, please, and you get a second here.
Sure.
How are you?
Okay. Bob Puskis?
Here.
Okay, Arnie Schmidt?
Yup.
Bill Connell? Here. Okay, Bob McCourt?
Here.
David Triggs?
Here.
John Hurley?
Here.
Justin Jones? Here. Bud Chase?
Here.
Stephen Dahl?
Here.
And am I missing anyone from here? No?
You're not here to say.
Yes. Okay, so, I'm pretty sure Bob Warnlocker, Mayor Kramer, Councilmember Potasnik are not gonna be here tonight. I haven't heard from Mary Lauco or Stephanie, Sprague yet. Or John Moon.
All right, next thing on the agenda is our public comment. Motion to open the meeting to public.
Motion.
Have a second. Favor?
I've got no comment at this time, maybe at the end.
Motion to close the public session.
Motion.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Next is the approval of the November 24th, November 2024, February 2025, and April 2025 meeting minutes.
I emailed them all out, but there's paper copies in the middle if anyone wants. I don't know if you want, but there's no changes in this group or, you know. I did. I'm trying to.
This time, nobody
You
will.
look at the minutes, right? You have them, or are you looking for them?
Yeah,
Where, is this it?
their activity report.
Are there any additions and corrections to the 3 different meetings minutes?
Stephanie, how are you? Good.
So we don't have.
And we have April.
Put him down.
Okay. Here it is. And here's another.
Hearing no corrections or additions, a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Which ones? All 3 of them, all was
Well, I have to abstain from one because I wasn't at the February meeting, so. Either it was John or John Moon or Bill.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Financial report.
So it's on the front and back. I emailed those around because last month we didn't meet. So if you turn the paper over is May. I can put it up on the screen if it's easier. We can do April is April 1st.
Any questions on a financial report?
Move to approve. Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? New business. Park maintenance. This is something Artie and I have been talking about, and Artie did a little research for me. And, yeah, Artie, you can take it away.
This has to, it's 2 different parts. I'm going to start with the lesser of the 2, I think, where we've been asking for several months to see the Catalpa plans. And we were told we're going to see them, and then at I think the last meeting or the meeting before, we were told, well, council has to see them first, and then we get to see them, which is sort of backwards, I think. All the time in the past, we have reviewed them first. If the council sees them first and they approve them, then there's no reason for us to see them. Let me just look at something here. I want to see something here. Okay, this is actually April 21st, 2015. Just an example. Under old business, Alpha Park hearing on the revised concept plan will be held Tuesday, June 30th at 7 p.m. in council chambers. Bob Warnlocker asked the Open Space Advisory Committee to make recommendations to the council prior to the June 30th public hearing, thus making my point that we've been asking to see the plans all along, and Bob tells us, well, the council has to see it first, and then us. So then I find out last week that the Talpa's been sent out for bid. So it's been approved. We never got to see the new plans, and it's a done deal. So, I mean, I think we all understand the council can do this. We're just advisory. But it would have been nice if things had gone step by step by step in the right direction, where we got to see it first, made our recommendations if there were any, then the council got to see it, and then it goes out for bid. But it didn't happen. So that's one thing. The other thing has to do with DPW salaries. So in March of 2015 at our meeting, it was discussed that paying salaries for DPW employees. Puskis made a motion to recommend the council to hire 2 employees, pay salaries from open space funds, but not pay benefits. Schmidt seconded. All members in favor, motion passes. March 2016, the court expressed concern of how this year's park maintenance budget was calculated. The court suggested 1/2 cent of every OSAC tax collected be used for maintenance. Conversation ensued. Pros and cons of this idea. Fran Barakali said she would follow up with local counties and towns to understand how they fund maintenance salaries for parks. That was March 15, 2016. And where did I go? Now I'm in 2015. Let me see. I don't need that. May 2016, park maintenance costs. Fran reported on current procedures of various towns and counties used regarding open space funding. Puskis, the court moved, Puskis seconded a motion for a maximum 10% of the open space annual tax be used for maintenance salaries. All members in favor, motion passed. So, Bob, if you would take from there and talk about how much, we pull in from open space funds, I believe you have those numbers, and how much we're paying out of those funds.
Right. All right, thank you for looking that up for me. We're taking in right around a little over $6 million from our open space tax.
So 10% would be about $600,000.
$600,000. So we're spending now $800,000. Now, this is, again, I've been saying all along, we already agreed to pay for 2 guys, and the council took it on to pay for another 10 guys, so now we're getting over, the council can do what they want to do, but as an advisory committee, we come here and I feel we get disrespected because, like I say, what Arnie said about the Talpa, we used to see the budget before. Now, we used to get to work on the budget and say, okay, historic preservation needs some money, we'd move money around the budget or add money to the budget. Now the budget's just given to us. We have no say in the budget. We have no say in anything. Bottom line is the council can do what they want, but why have this committee if they're not gonna respect this committee's opinion?
I agree.
Yeah, at least make us, give us the opportunity.
Right.
And regardless of what we say, they can still do what they want. We understand that.
Right.
But
And I
to just skip by us is.
Bob called me today because he's looked at the agenda and says, what's park maintenance got on the thing? And he called Sarah and said, I don't know, Bob put it on there. So he called me and I laid it on the line to him. I said, we're getting disrespected. We ask for stuff we don't get. And why have there's a feeling, why have the committee even, if you're going to do what you want to do? And it's not only for like the budget and the Catalpa stuff, but it's even stuff that has to do with maintenance on the open space properties. We asked a year ago to get the fence fixed on Memorial Forest, when we planted the mother's tree. Still broken down right there in front, and hasn't been fixed. We asked for the sign to get a different, angle for the sign, a V sign instead of a flat sign. That hasn't been done. It was brought up, one of our residents brought up about mowing, consulate flowers. That hasn't been done. I mean, they just, why had the committee?
And well, this is more of maybe more of a shade tree and environmental commission thing, but it also has to do with open space, because we want to plant trees on open space. We've been talking about Memorial Forest, talking about a part in town where Ted wants to plant trees, but we've been being told about watering maintenance plan for the past 3 years about, approximately. And and if you go up and down JFK Boulevard where PS&G planted trees, I think it was 2 years ago, some of those trees are dying and other trees, there's about 20 trees on JFK Boulevard that the tops of them you can see, they're all dying from the top. And we've been talking, so again, and they're not being trimmed. I mean, there's shooters coming off them from the bottom, and we had been told by DPW representatives that, oh, we have great people that take care of all this stuff, and we do have good people at DPW. I know, our representative on Shade Tree does a great job with us, but he can't do everything. So we don't want to throw good money after bad by planting trees when we know they're not going to get watered or maintained. So we're still waiting for that.
And
I really feel bad about bringing this up without the main people who we discussed this with. But they're somewhere else tonight.
Well, Bob got it, I laid it on the line to Bob today about what we just talked about basically, and he didn't know what to say actually, and then he kind of said, well, you're not 100% wrong or right, he just kind of got out of the conversation pretty quick, but I just kept on him about all the different disrespect and, about how this committee doesn't get its due diligence. And again, I kept telling him, we understand that the council has the ultimate decision.
Absolutely.
Well, like I say, in the past, we always got stuff to look at and made comments and stuff that sometimes they followed us, sometimes they didn't, but at least we had some input. We represent the rest of the town. Everybody's from a different committee, different organization that's represented the rest of this town, and we get the town, I feel, have the representation because of the way I operate.
I would suspect that the manager doesn't want us to make recommendations to the council. And if we make recommendations, council won't see them.
Well, they have to. I mean, if it's being recorded, it's in meeting minutes, so they can't ignore
You
it.
would hope the council members would watch the tape and look at the minutes or anything.
And we have council members, at least 2, that come to most of the meetings.
Yeah.
Right.
I looked at
Our local newspaper.
800,000 is the labor number, or is that the total? Like in the annual budget, it's 800,000 is the total labor number,
I think Tara has that number there.
or is that labor and all the other stuff that goes with it?
I
Because
think it's equipment maintenance, it's all that sort of thing.
what was it? I thought it was the 800,000.
The budget.
And the added up, because there's overtime, they've got 3 items for the budget for salaries, just 3 lines.
The budgeted amount for full-time is $685,073. The part-time is $64,500, and salary and wages overtime is $25,000.
680.
$685,073. $64,500 for part-time, and then $25,000 for overtime.
It's about 770, something like that.
$685,073. It's $774,573 is salary.
Off the top of my head.
Arnie, you passed it, you get back, you
Sounds
get
like
back
more
past.
than 2
But
full-time.
we're over that amount every year. We're going, luckily, fortunate for the tax that they keep raising everybody's taxes in town, so this number keeps getting bigger, and next year it'll even get bigger because they've raised everybody's assessments.
Sorry, did you just say fortunately what?
Fortunately, and unfortunately for the taxpayers, but fortunately for the budget,
Bob, you were gonna say something? Will you raise your hand?
Oh,
You already forgot.
I could say a lot.
He already forgot.
Just say it, Bob.
No, I can't.
So can I, since I'm basically I'm like the only person from the town, I guess, here, let me ask some questions, is that okay? Or,
Yeah,
so, in terms of the salaries, so I'm asking kind of, what are you thinking is best now? Do you want to just see it? Do you have an idea in your head of what it is?
Are you talking about the plans?
To start off, let's start off with the DPW salary.
If I could just make the first comment on that, again, going back, whatever it was, 8-9 years ago, we agreed on the 10%. We all understand that the council can do what they want.
Right.
Now it's well above, it's $150,000, $170,000 above 10% approximately, ballpark figure. And they can do that. But if they're gonna do it, we're here, talk about it with us, and, just tell us, this is
Just
what they're doing.
Just wait till they start to add benefits and don't think that that's not coming next.
And if they are legally allowed to, and they want to do it, they can do it. But again, we are the people that are representing the township. Did I curse? We are the people that represent the people in the town, and I think that's one of the reasons we're put here.
Absolutely.
And so, talk to us. That's all.
Right. Okay, so it's a matter of you want to be consulted on it. At this point, do you guys have any recommendations for that?
I think that we should still see the freaking plans.
Well, first, let's talk about the DPW salary. Let's talk about the
We're talking about the
DPW
budget.
salaries.
No,
Yeah, and then we'll talk about the plan.
And I agree with that, but, one thing at a time, yeah.
Do you guys want to make a recommendation on it? Not today, it doesn't say, is your goal that you want to make a recommendation on it, for the next time we meet? Do you need something to look at that I can get for you so that you can because I do want to say this, and this is just coming from me, the 10% cap, it might not be appropriate anymore. You might need to increase it. I don't know this. You might need to, though, because there's a lot of work to be done, and there's not enough time to get it done. And I can tell you that because I work on 4 committees in this township, and everybody, the requests you guys have, Trails has the same amount of requests, Environmental Commission has requests, there's constantly events to be held and barriers to be put up. So what I'm saying is that the maintenance out of that 10% might it might not be appropriate anymore. It might need more, it might not.
Well, it obviously isn't.
So that, when we did that, the tax base was, was it $300,000-400,000, now it's $600,000.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that number is going, right now, the number's going up.
10% is a good number, because the money we're taking in is growing. So it's not a stagnant, we didn't say that we're gonna cap it at 200,000 forever. It's a sliding scale, so as the tax base go up, that number's gonna go
But
up.
maybe it's something you need to look at to see, what I'm saying is, can I try to get you something so that you can make an educated decision on what the percentage should be? Because just saying 10% might not be, you know what I mean? Is there something I can add? Do you want me to ask DPW for something so that you can look at it and make a recommendation, or do you just want to wait until next budget season?
I think the first thing that comes to my mind is we had a big conversation when we came to the 10% thing, and
Right.
10% a couple of years ago, at that time, was probably 400,000, now it's 600,000.
Right.
We sit here at 10%. The council, they might come to us, or Bob Morlocker might come to us at a meeting and say, look, you guys agreed on 10%, 9 years ago, whatever it was, and our open space is growing, our maintenance costs are growing, our people are getting, salaries go up, benefits go up. We need to take more money. What do you guys think?
Right.
So, for us to give a number, we're sort of bordering against ourselves.
Right.
I guess what my question is
We kind of need to see a number.
Well, that's what
at
I'm
some
saying.
point in
Once
time,
you-
because
yeah.
once Catawba Park goes online, that's going to add at least another $400,000.
Wow, that much?
Absolutely. You don't think so?
The first thing I want to know is if there's 664,000 or whatever it is for full-time positions,
Right.
how many actual positions is that supporting?
Okay.
Because it sounds like it's more than the 2 full-time positions that were originally.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like a lot more.
They added to it.
It's
Because of maintenance.
it's the 2 guys plus the 10 part-time, the 10 guys are paying 10 months, that's all coming out of that 10%.
I know, Arnie, you were saying before when you were looking at the old minutes, you mentioned how Fran had looked in to compare other towns. Did I hear you right? Like to see what was like the status quo?
Yeah.
Like, is what you're saying, like, you want to look and see what the current status quo is?
I
To
could
kind
do
of
that.
like, what I guess what I'm asking is, are you guys looking to like, I want to make a recommendation based on this 10% to see if it's relevant still or not? And if that's the case, I can try to get you information so that you can see how much are we paying now, how many people, what are they doing, and what other places are doing? Or are you looking to basically just say, you know, the next time you guys consider this, we want Open Space Advisory Committee to be consulted?
Well,
Because either one
That's
is,
gonna be one of our requests, is that in January, I guess the budget gets done in February or March or something like that, the budget, they vote on a budget. So in January, we want to see a proposed budget for open space, and we can move the numbers around. If we think it's 800,000 is not enough, we can increase it. If, you know, if we need historic preservation needs more money, or Meadows, you know, the Meadows maintenance needs more money, we could put our input into that. Whether they want to take our input or not is one thing, but at least give us a shot at it.
We're not saying no to what they're doing. We're just saying, speak to us. So, and I think.
County open space does not charge.
Pardon me?
County open space, money coming out of the county open space does not pay for any maintenance.
wow.
That's in there.
Salaries?
No salaries come out of county open space.
You have somebody come here and speak to about
Sorry?
it? You have somebody come here and speak to how they do it?
I mean, the county, just speaking from someone who worked at the county, I don't know, I didn't work in FNS or anything like that, but I did work there for a long time. They have a huge, fully functioning staff that has electricians, go ahead.
Is this a point where, especially to Bob's point about Catalpa coming online, should we have like a special maintenance portion just for open?
Billy, I've said a long time that there should be a Parks Commission, okay? That's
I
designated
might have stole your
just to
idea,
take,
I have no idea.
and
You know, that way it's less gray, you know what I mean? Like, you have people that are just dedicated to doing that, and you don't have to wonder if they're out fetching coffee for water in the water department or anything like that.
this is why you should have we're a big enough town where we should have a Park Commission, just like rec, okay? So there should be set aside a Park Commission, so it's fully funded. You know exactly where every 10 cents is being paid.
Funded from where? Funded from where? From open space?
It's from the trust.
Well, it doesn't have to mean that it's all coming from the trust, but that's something to be talked about.
Right.
But Bob, I'm not sure if you brought this up at one point, about, you know, seeing, you know, during the summer months, when there's a drought and grass isn't being cut, what are those workers who are spending 80% of their time, you know, taking care of things like that, what are they doing? Are they spending 80% of their time? You know, so are we really getting our bang for the buck?
I don't think so. Arnie, I agree with you. I don't think we are, because of the fact that the one meeting, Bob, we said questions about Bob, the guys are out filling potholes in. We're paying for the pothole filler, you know, the guys filling potholes. I mean, yes, they gotta be done, but why is open space paying for those guys? The question I like to get answered also is, before they start raising the trust fund for salaries, there had to be a line item in the midst of a budget for salaries, for open space, or for parks. That money just got in it, I take it, went into the general fund, and they didn't have to raise, you know, they took the money out of our budget, or our fund, because that way, we didn't raise taxes this year, we didn't raise taxes. They're balancing the budget, not saying we have no tax increases because they're taking out the tax dollars out of the open space. They're double taxing the people, basically.
Well, I would consider that if you had 10% allocated to maintenance, that ought to include any equipment and supply expense that are really for maintenance as well as salaries. But as I remember, the original agreement was that open space would pay for the salaries of 2 public works workers, but that in the summer, which is when open space work generally gets done, they would actually have more people from DPW involved. And in the winter, the people that we pay will also be driving snow plows.
Right.
So
The idea was,
it seemed like a reasonable balance.
Bob, if I could just touch on what Ted just said, going back to the February 2015 meeting, that's when it was, Puskas made a motion, recommended the council to hire 2 employees to pay salaries from open space funds, but not pay benefits through open space trust fund. Schmidt seconded, all members in favor, motion passed. So that was February of 2015. May of 2016, that's where we upped the ante and we went, court moved, Puskas seconded, a motion, 10% of open space annual tax be used for maintenance salaries. All members in favor, motion passed.
but, and this, the frustrating part for me is,
Maintenance salaries. So salaries is salaries, not.
not lawnmowers and bolts and nuts
Right.
and chains.
Right.
That's what, you know, they need a lock for Middlebush Park or a lock, who knows, you know, this stuff gets locks and lawnmower blades and all this other stuff. We don't know, it just comes out of this, look at our budget line items and what they're giving us, the finance report. There's all kinds of stuff coming out. It's not maintenance, it's not maintenance salaries, it's all kinds of stuff. A new lawnmower or whatever, and you know, how much is that lawnmower being used on? Again, we back up a little bit. We hired these 2 people because we couldn't get part-time help in the summer and any time of the year to take care of the trails at the John Clyde and Negrita Pony or Butler Road and make trails and maintain the trails. So that was the idea, hiring 2 full-time guys. We did it in February. We gave them money in February, so we could have 2 guys, basically our staff, to do what we needed done on the trails. And then after they got done with doing what we needed to do, they would work for Public Works doing whatever they needed to be done. So now we're funding 12 guys, and we can't get anything done on our open space properties anyway. We ask, and never get nothing done, and here we are.
And had it not been for Arnie looking into this, I wouldn't have known that there was that big of an increase. So like, they're kind of sneaking it in, and where does it stop? That's even a bigger concern to me. Like, you know, especially like you said, once Catalpa gets built, like you know they're going to want to dip more into it. Are they going to consult us, or are they just going to do the same thing?
They're going to need more employees. They're going to have more overtime. If they don't hire more employees, that $25,000 overtime is going to get used up pretty darn quick.
So we are not
Transparency.
Yes.
an open space budget anymore. It used to be that this committee would have to approve.
Well, this year
the
though,
open space
and that
budget.
is true, the last 2 years I have, because Stephanie, actually, I have your comments on the budget. So it was sent to everybody, and I got comments from Stephanie. And that is the truth. That is I sent it for 2 meetings this year. No big deal. But the last 2, since you guys have been telling me to give you the budget, I started giving it. But I can only give you what I have. I don't have DPW's. That's the problem, I think. I don't have DPW's budget. So.
What were you were sharing,
Yeah, like,
open space budget?
yeah, basically what we would need for like open space preservation, maintenance, you know, equipment, supplies, appraisers, things like that.
Salaries.
No salaries, because DPW does that part of the budget and I don't have it.
And all that stuff that you talked about is not salaries, and the 10% that we
Right.
put on was salaries.
Right. Those items are typical, I think, to come out of an open space trust fund, but I understand your point is that you want to review it at budget time, and I think
Well,
that's
like I say,
okay.
like Ted, agree with Ted, like I said, back in the day, we get, in January, February, whatever it was, we get our budget, maintenance or whatever it was, we got to look at it, and, you know, historic preservation needed you know, that, what budget historic preservation, enough money now, we need a little more, so we put a little more money towards that, or take, you know, shuffle the money around. And then, in fact, when the council was hearing the budgets, Randy and Fran would go and sit before the council would ask Randy questions about what our proposed budget.
I went with Randy too, I think twice, once or twice, yeah.
Right, and that just went by the wayside. Because as long as I've been on this, you know, chair of the committee, I've never been asked to come before, you know, we don't get to see it anyway, so I mean, we should have input in the whole, whatever that financial statement is, we should have, when it comes out of Open Space Trust Fund, we should have some say in it. Whether they listen to us or not is one thing, but we should still have some say in it.
You may have an idea how to save some money too. I mean.
Right.
Right.
And it also get back to filling potholes. You know, I don't know if there's a way where you can account for, you know, how everybody spends every minute of the day. I think that's impossible. But, you know, there's a way to look at it, get an overview of it and see who's doing what, possibly.
We should be able to get, and we've asked for this number of times, we keep getting shut down on this, how much time did the guys spend, even not just on Negri Pody and John Clyde and Buffalo, you know, or what I call open space property is not Catalpa Park or, you know, Inman Park. They're all open space, but what I call open space properties is stuff we have to manage differently than just mowing the grass and putting park over it down. We gotta move trees off of trails, mow the properties once a year, you know, things like that to maintain our properties. They should be able to tell us, you know, what these guys, how much time these guys are going to do this stuff, and there's no accountability. We can't get any accountability out of that.
Can't even see a schedule.
They should have a schedule that's written down, which would.
It's not public yet. Okay. But, so
They gotta have a schedule. I mean, I would assume they have a schedule. You know, there's something to keep track of it.
I'm sure they do,
It
yeah.
sounds like to me like one of the main concerns is like the open space properties are not being properly cared for. If the open space properties were being mowed and repaired and replenished and signs being replaced and benches fixed, then there wouldn't be as much cause for concern about the money usage, right? Because I mean, I feel like there's a lot to be done. And if those things were being done, then there wouldn't be a concern. But the fact that this over 10% of the budget is going towards this, but we're not reaping what we're sowing for that.
Just as far as the schedule, from Shade Tree Commission, our DPW person usually says that they only find out what they're doing on that morning when they come to work. And it just sounds like, even though the everyday person may not be aware of the schedule, it just sounded to us like it's not very organized or planned out. Like what the plan is, like what is the watering plan, how often you go water trees, there's no answer. Like there's not even, you know, what is the general plan? And then if it rains, then you back off on water. There's just no, like, looking for.
So you have a DPW person on your committee, and you have a DPW person on your committee?
Well, we're on the same committee, Shade Tree, and Barry makes an excellent point about Connor Ferretti is our representative, and he has been a blessing. He has been great working with Shade Tree. And
Who's this?
Connor Ferretti. It's been wonderful. But he tells us that, you know, depending on the day, depending on the weather conditions, they might not know what they're doing until they show up at work at 6 or 7 in the morning, whatever time they show up. You know, they might have a plan for the week, but things change for different reasons.
This week.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So we understand that. So they might have a schedule. They might have, it's a soft schedule of some kind, it sounds like. But you still end up going back to what was planned last week and doing it this week, you know, once the emergencies come up or whatever.
But even if we get the numbers, the stuff after the fact, it's easy to track after the fact. You know, so okay, we're going to go mow Negri to Pody today. It rains, you can't do it. We do it 3 days from now. They can come back and say, well, you know, there's got to be a schedule. I don't care if the schedule changes, but stuff still needs to get done. Somewhere along the line, there's got to be somebody. You know, it's just frustrating because so much stuff this committee has asked for this town to do, and this what again, not different. scenario on open space, we can't get done. And if it wasn't for Connor, the mayor should have never gotten planted.
And there are some things that have to get done on a regular schedule, whether it's raining or not,
Right.
such as watering the trees along JFK Boulevard. Now, I think maybe I understand why they're dying. It may be that nobody ever put them into the watering into the schedule for 2 weeks.
Bob Hudak and I have walked up and down JFK Boulevard over the last 3 or 4 years, many times, and spoken to Shade Tree and said, these trees are dying, these trees need to be watered. Where is, and Steve Galluli's the chair of Shade Tree, and we keep talking about where's the watering plan, the watering and maintenance plan. Well, it's being worked on, it's coming, it's been worked on, and we've been hearing that for years. Meanwhile, trees are dying, and you've got to remove them, replant them, put in new trees. Costing money, you're throwing good money after bad. And
It
we
seems to me
want to
that
plant trees elsewhere, as I said, but we don't want to plant them until we have a watering plan.
And if they say, if Bob says, oh, it's being worked on, the reply has got to be, as it would be in a British comedy, that's simply not good enough.
Well,
You've got to tell us why this thing has been in the works for 3 years and has not, and we're always just told, oh, it's being worked on.
Steve does that.
There's no excuse for that.
He goes in.
So
But anyway, we've seen a draft, we've seen 2 drafts, special drafts. So
Did-
I don't know when it's getting finalized, of course.
talking about trees and water and stuff, if anybody goes around Middlebush Park, not Middlebush Park, I call Middlebush Park the park by the church. You go around South Middlebush, make a left off of Amwell on the South Middlebush, the church planted 8 or 10 or 12 trees around there 2 years ago, or a year ago, and every one of those trees was alive and doing well. Why? Because they took care of, every day you go by, somebody was out there watering those trees
right.
every single day. They're beautiful.
They're out there watering.
And they're all different species of trees too. They're out there taking care of them.
Out there watering, I see the pastor sometimes watering the hose.
So, what's the committee want to go from here? I mean, it's in, hopefully Bill's got all this in a minute, so I hope somebody reads them. Tara's heard
I go back to the videotape on this one.
I think we have to have the same discussion when Bob Warnmacher is here.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind seeing more information on this.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
I'm fairly new to this committee and it's just,
Yeah, I'll see absolutely what I can get. So the financial report I give you, the way that I put it together, just so you know, I get the Edmunds report, which is like the system we use. It has everything that we've done, and then I basically like put it into all the lines, calculate it, and I put what was spent. But I don't have access to DPW's salary, so I can ask for that, absolutely.
that would
Yes.
be great. That would help fill it in.
I think that's the biggest unknown in this schedule.
I'm sorry?
That's the biggest unknown, and
Yeah. Do we want a hiatus on buying any more property until we get more of an answer with this? I mean, I feel like we're kind of contributing to the problem. We keep buying and buying and accumulating and
That's the
doing
point of the money.
Well, we want to buy properties.
Right.
We want to buy
want to
properties.
spend money.
You don't have to plant trees on these new properties that we're buying.
No, but we need some transparency and a little more accountability on how this money is being used.
exactly.
And maybe I'm saying we don't do it ever, I'm not saying that. Maybe we take a hiatus from it until we get this a little bit clearer and find out a little bit more information.
I wouldn't
Because
take,
we're just compounding the problem then.
I would not take a hiatus on purchasing property.
Yeah, we don't have
If
that luxury.
the opportunity comes up to purchase
Exactly.
properties.
I'm not
You have
saying
to- you have
forever.
to do that when the opportunity is there.
I think some of the reason why this is happening is that our purchase expenses are a lot lower than they were 20 years ago when we were buying the development rights on big properties, like Saddam Farm.
Years ago, we were buying a lot more property than we are today.
Less expensive than that.
No,
The county has open space.
Oh, okay.
tax.
Right.
I agree with you.
Park Commission comes out, I believe, out of the.
Speak up, Bob, so we can hear it down here.
The park commission comes out of general fund? I don't know. I think some of it does, there has to be some funding from the open space fund, I'm sure, for the parks commission at the county. I could look up their annual report and see if it says it in there.
I'd like to see
I'm
where that
sure
money
some
comes
of it comes from there, because the one thing I do want to stress is this. In 15, 20 years ago, buying property was everyone was buying property left and right. It was easy, there was a lot of property to buy. There's not as many properties that are suitable for open space or farmland preservation currently right now. Not that we're not buying properties, we are, but that is the trend across the state of New Jersey, and that is the truth of the matter. Maintenance, now that we have all these properties, is a real need. It really is. So we can't. The thing is that's why I think it's important for you guys to see what's actually being done and spent, because you don't want to reduce, you don't want to cap the maintenance and then say, well, why isn't this getting done? Why isn't that getting done? If a case can be made that we need money like that for maintenance, that's one thing. Maybe the case can't be made. I don't know, because I don't have the numbers, but I'm saying maybe getting the numbers would be helpful to see what is the actual, because we don't know what the actual need for maintenance is. It's the same thing with like changing the price of a replacement tree, right? We can't just say, oh, we think it's this. We should have like some background, and I don't know what it is. It might prove that you need it. It might prove that it's overspending. Who knows?
We're not denying the need, that there's a need, you know,
Right.
the prices go up,
Right.
the cost is going up. We're not denying that.
Right.
Just looking for more transparency.
Absolutely. Totally get that.
I'd
Yeah.
like to see it.
It would be good if we could get, even for 1 month, an explanation from DPW of exactly what, say, those 2 or more employees have done, and
Okay.
some idea of how much time is actually spent on open space properties.
Got it.
Well, I guess the first thing is, the first way the horse got its head inside the tent was, oh, open space fund should pay for maintaining parks that were bought as parks, not as open space.
Right. Yeah.
Well, we acceded to that, and
Yeah.
They'll fall back and saying, well, the ordinance says that you can do this and the ordinance says you could do that. And that's what they'll fall back on, okay? Because it's
yeah, but
pretty
do we know
specific.
how much is in ordinances and how much is just in, well, it's evolved this way?
That's true too, yes.
But this brings to mind the question of, okay, we've got all this open space property to maintain, the parks, mowing the grass, stuff like that. But we're paying salaries for guys in the wintertime, they're plowing or snow plowing, or there's no you know, what are they doing when they're not doing parks maintenance? We're footing that bill.
And how many other DPW employees actually are involved in maintaining open space? Because that was the original deal, that more DPW people would work on open space in the summertime.
Does Carl have any written instructions how to manage those people? Just it.
All right, well, let's move on. We
I
got,
think Vanessa has a comment.
Bill's got it in the minutes, and we'll bring this up in the next meeting we have, which is probably not gonna be till September, so stew on this all summer long.
Do we have a meeting scheduled for July?
We schedule July and August, but we normally in the past cancel.
Well, I guess that's the question. We schedule them, but then we make a decision as to whether we want to have them.
Right.
So I guess we still have to make that decision as to whether we're going to have a meeting in July or August. So, I mean,
We could schedule a meeting and see if the manager will attend.
well, the meeting is scheduled. Right?
It's scheduled. It's on the docket.
It's a matter of whether it's
Whether
going
we
to
actually have it or cancel it.
All right, next on the agenda,
Can I
Jeff.
just-
Vanessa has a question.
Bob, can I just ask one
Vanessa has
question?
a question.
For the second week in July, or the third week in July, I don't have my schedule with me right now, but I'm wondering, is there anybody that would be opposed to having a meeting in July?
No, I mean, that's fine with me.
It
I
will be
mean,
July 15th.
there a reason, or you have something?
The 1st of July is, it's the 16th.
To follow up on this and.
That's what's right up there.
Yeah, follow up on this and.
It'll be a short meeting. Yeah.
It could be just to follow up on this and get it out of the way, the sooner the better.
Maybe boxing gloves, go at it.
And
Could be.
by the September meeting, we'll all be fired.
We'll all have a
We'll
point.
cut our salaries.
We have a point. Cut mine in half. I can't survive on that. But as we know, we could say we want to have a meeting in July, but we can be overridden by council if they.
Well, no, you can have a meeting in July. They can't say, no, you can't have a meeting.
I don't think they can say no to that, yeah.
That's a meeting.
Well,
Nothing would surprise me.
If we have a quorum, we can have a meeting.
Yeah.
It's not something.
But the idea of having a meeting and following up on this would be having the council.
If no one shows up, there's no sense having a meeting.
Bob's got
To
to
be
be
able to
here.
discuss it. And they.
And the mayor both, we want the mayor here to discuss it all.
And
Councilman.
And also, and by then, hopefully, they will have had time to read up on what we discussed today, review the video if they want to, and they'd have you had a small conversation with Bob today,
Tara, the other thing is we were talking about the county, the other towns around here with open space.
How do they do maintenance?
That's what I was trying to get at, actually.
Montgomery, Hillsborough, I know that they pay maintenance out of open space trust. I don't know their percentage. I don't know like how many workers or anything like that, but Hillsborough, Montgomery for sure. Bedminster, yes. I'm trying to think back
What I
to,
was trying to get at before was just trying to like think about like looking at this whole thing, big picture. And I know when I first joined the committee, one of the things I looked at was I was really proud of how much preserved open space we had. I started looking at other towns, comparing, and I was like, oh, well, they have a lot too. They have a lot too. And then, like, I know, Tara, you've kind of shared this in the past, which is like, there's an evolution. There's an evolution to open space. Like the early years you guys were talking about, where you acquire a lot. And then now, once you acquire that, then the next phase, like what you were talking about, now it's the maintenance phase. So I think it would be great to have like a bird's eye view of what that evolution looks like and budget-wise, what that looks like. And like the percentage for for maintenance versus the other
The
things.
discussion is here is how do you manage it? How do you, like, because.
And there's that management.
If they add five or,
You need a 5-year plan.
every, we're gonna wind up spending half our annual budget on maintenance. So now is the time to put some boundaries on it.
Yeah.
agree with you.
But there's no, right now, you don't even know what the data is, you know what I mean? There's no way to calculate, or do you really need 12 people? Okay, how are these people being mixed and matched? Like let's say in the morning, they say, okay, it's raining in the morning, go out and fill potholes.
Yeah.
The pothole job becomes big. So now the guy.
But we can't micromanage that. Like, we cannot micromanage
I know,
DPW. But it's kind of back to what Ted Chase was saying before, which is like, we're assuming that they're gonna be spending a percentage of their time doing potholes, and then we're gonna have extra guys who we're not paying for, helping with the mowing
Well, that's the thing.
and the big.
Stop assuming and put some.
right.
But I understand, but I feel like there is a need right now to manage this because we're not seeing any return on our investment. And so part of that's that communication you guys are talking
That may
about.
not necessarily.
Like, there's not, that we're not
That may not be
seeing
true.
what they're doing.
That may not be true. We don't know.
We don't know.
We're told by inference.
So it's the communication piece, like what are our goals? Like what are the goals? What are the goals for the money in the budget? And then how do we know if we're reaching our goals? And if we don't know how the money, the benefit of the money?
Yeah, they could be overachieving for all we know, but we have no data.
Well, I mean, the goal is to purchase open space. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really what this committee.
But also to
It
maintain
can't be
it.
just to purchase it though, it cannot.
But we really want to buy any open space that's available that makes sense to purchase. That's really our primary objective.
in my
And
mind,
then maintenance comes
Yeah,
secondary after
there are
that.
two goals: purchasing property, maintaining the property.
Yeah.
So that stuff is purchasing. We're doing as much as we can. Maintenance. What we're talking about tonight is maintenance and how it's getting paid for and more transparency.
Right.
Because not all of our open space property is not maintained, because there's a need to be maintained. We buy them 518 property is a perfect example. We've got hunting on it, and the Trails Committee is talking about putting a small walking trail there.
Yeah.
But once that walking trail is in there, there's no maintenance. I mean, you know, what's the maintenance? Once or twice a year to go, somebody walk around trail and take the trees.
Well, there's a parking lot there now, though, so that has to be filled in sometimes. There's the kiosk that will be there. They want to put benches in. It's not just a trail. That's what I'm saying. It's like, those are you can't just have a trail and be like, here's a trail that we mow once in a while. There needs to be a garbage can, benches. Like, this is what I'm talking, there's expenses associated with it.
Trail goes through woods, you have to check it to see if a tree has fallen down.
Right, but it's not an everyday job. It's something you want to do. One of the employees can walk that trail in an hour, once a month. Or get a report from somebody that the tree is down, and the maintenance goes take, you know, somebody probably takes the tree down. The maintenance isn't, on a lot of these properties, isn't that difficult.
I think it'd just be good for us to compare to other towns, like, just like you guys did originally when you determined the 10%. Like, is that still what other towns are investing? Is that, now that we're in more of the maintenance phase, we can't buy quite as much as we'd like to, like, what does that look like? And are we in sync with that or not? And then, if we are, then the communication piece.
It also goes, you can't really compare it too well, because you gotta know what they're paying per 100. We're paying a nickel 100. Some other towns might be 3 cents or 10 cents. You know, if you're gonna go that far, you gotta look at what they're collecting.
We also gotta look at the size of the town, which we can absolutely do,
We're the largest town in the state.
Yeah, and we have a lot of open space. We understand that, whereas a town like Montgomery probably doesn't have as much open space as we do.
But Hillsborough probably does. Yeah.
But like I say, the 10% is not a bad number. The percentage of the 10 is not a bad percentage, because it's not capped. It's capped at 10%, but it goes with how much money is coming in. It's never going to go down.
No.
That number is never going to go down. So if we're collecting $6 million this year, next year we'd be collecting $6.5 or $7 million. The next year, 7.1 or 7.2. That 10% number is always going to go higher, because taxes are never going to go down. They're never going to go to 500,000.
So then we're just asking for transparency.
Basically, yes. We've been asking that forever.
So maybe we can find out, like, how does that exist in other towns? Like, do they have issues with transparency like we do, or no? Or it's just a matter of communication?
All right. Let's move on, because we got a lot of stuff to do tonight yet.
Yeah.
Open space recreation plan. Tara?
So, I have that on there. I haven't been able to start it with Mark yet.
Okay.
Mark has reached out to me, but again, so the open space plan is slated to be right after the adoption of the Pathways and Trails plan, which is scheduled for tomorrow night. So as soon as that's done, then comes open space plan, and then environmental commission is a plan. So that's really under Mark, but I'm just reporting that, we're gonna try and start working on that soon.
Anybody have other new business they want to bring before the committee?
Just
Arnie.
going back, still talking about Catalpa, I'd still like to see that plan.
Oh, it's coming up on another old business.
Okay.
Walk All Trails program.
So the Walk All Trails program, we, at the Trails Commission, we created this Google form for people who are going to participate. We identified 14 trails. It's like 14.5 miles of trails. If a participant walks those and logs it, then at the end of it, they can get recognition by the mayor at a council meeting. We're also going to use it to work with Healthier Franklin. Yes, Healthier Franklin, to kind of figure out, some metrics for health at the same time. So at this point right now, we've identified the trails, we've created the Google form, so I'm working with Sappy to get a website going and advertise it and all that. So that will promote our trail usage and hopefully get some people recognized for walking those trails. So that's where we're at, but we're moving forward.
How many trails is it?
It's 14 trails, and it ends up being 14.5 miles. Yeah.
Next on the agenda is the trails grant from the county.
The trails grant from the county. So we talked about that, the Trails Committee, the other day. We were talking about the, sorry, I have it up here. Give me 1 second. The recreational trails program that the county is doing.
So basically, it's on a rolling basis right now. It's until all the money's expended that they put into that program. There's no cap on how much you can ask for, but really every town gets to apply once, and then they make sure you can't apply until as long as another town hasn't gotten theirs, right? So the Trails Committee, we were talking about, should we be, thinking of a trail to put forward for this program? Because there are some projects that we've been working on. And what we kind of came up with was two options. The first is the wooded trail at Neiman Williams Park that we've been trying to do. The thing that's been holding us back on that has been permitting. There's a lot of permitting fees involved in it. The trails grant guidelines, that covers permitting, design, construction. So that's good news. That's in one of our areas of the town where we've really been trying to do trails improvements and open space improvements and preservation, so it would fit that. There's been a crime prevention through environmental design study done there, a green infrastructure study design. There's now new fitness equipment, and the pathway has been paved. So it would be a really good spot to work on that. So that was our one item, and I think that's what we kind of ended up really pushing. The backup item is the trail at County Route 518 property, which would basically be the full design, construction of the trail, benches, garbage can, kiosk, really getting that trail done and completely done from start to finish.
Well, the big question there is, how far is the trail going to go? Is it going to go all the way to Route 27?
No. So to start off, the Trails Committee actually went through and kind of looked at it. So we're looking really at like a 1 mile loop trail, right? Is that basically it, Vanessa, for the most part? Ish. Yeah.
To start. I mean, I personally was hoping to have a nice, to use most of the property to kind of get a nice loop out of there.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we could
So it may go back that
4
far.
mile. I think we could probably get a 4 mile loop in there.
The one thing with Neiman Williams Park that I forgot to add was, the micromobility study that we recently did identifies a on-street trail that kind of goes, it would take you from Neiman Williams past the youth center over towards Inman Park, right? Yes. Mm-hmm. So our thought was we might even be able to loop in the Neiman Williams Park Trail and this connection between, which two schools was it? I was forgetting.
Hillcrest and the Franklin Middle School, Hamilton Street.
And that's been identified in the micromobility study. Because they kind of connect, we might be able to apply for both of those, but under one project, basically saying we're making it one big improvement. So we could get a good grant out of that. So I think the Trails Committee was really wanting to forward that idea to the Open Space Advisory Committee. And if you think it's a good idea, recommend that we actually put that grant application together.
How many counties does Somerset have, or how many towns does?
21.
21, so after 21, then we get to go again.
You can go again, yep. So they used to have an open space program. So I know Franklin applied for it a few times a long time ago. It was 2006 through 2009. They did the open space program. And that went on for 3-4 years, and, it came around basically, every time. So as long as they're willing to keep funding it,
The question I have is, what about trails on county property?
So this is just for municipalities, but
Yeah.
so we couldn't apply for that, but the county, I guess they must have their own plans, yeah.
We want to just kind of put the ideas out there.
Yeah.
So is the Trails Committee looking for a recommendation tonight on this plan?
We wanted to kind of put it out there. We know that the sooner you apply, the better. Chris Kelly had kind of shared that, this is a great opportunity. We want to take advantage of it. And when we have, our committee sets goals annually, and this was one of our top goals, was to kind of see through the Neiman Williams project, getting, through the wooded area. Because that's what drew us to that park to begin with, was the wooded area, and creating access to a wooded area in the more densely populated parts of town. And it's been difficult. We started by dealing with some of the flood remediation issues along the regular path there, and that went really well. And so now the next stage is getting into that wooded space. And that was our priority, goal. We're also very interested in 518, and we were thinking if we could get to that second round, that would be a great second round. But also if open space, if you guys, were not comfortable for some reason with Neiman Williams, we would want to move forward with the 518.
Right. And basically what we need from this committee is, in order to put the grant application together, we're gonna need, to use my time, we need to use Maureen Sturgeon's time in DPW. She's a civil engineer, because we have to present a concept plan. So I've drawn it up on mapping, but we need an architectural drawing, kind of like a landscape drawing of that. So that's easy. I can do the mapping, but it's gonna take some effort, basically. So we need the okay to really submit for that, and we can't submit the grant. We need the township council's approval for that, so it would be the recommendation to the township council to submit this grant on behalf of the township.
Now, this is to connect the middle school and all these, that's your priority that we're talking about?
It's two parts. One part is just getting the trail in the wooded area, and the other is kind of like a bonus part, which is really using the information we got from the micromobility study, which is helping people get from one part of town to the other, to be connecting Neiman Williams Park through Inman Park and heading over to this area. And part of that complication is that Franklin Boulevard crossing, and then wanting to have a piece in this proposal. It has a piece kind of like with a trail kind of going through between Hillcrest and the old high school's, backyard. So just navigating that. We've gone out and looked at it, some of us just trying to figure out, there's some other ideas we think might be better than what they had in the proposal, because there already is a path a little bit closer to the Franklin Middle School building. But basically, our bigger concern is safety signage and things like that, which we could work into this grant as well, just making it a safe passageway.
So you're looking for us to make a recommendation that we're supporting the Trails Advisory Committee to go for this grant?
Right. So just on the screen, I just want to show you so you just know. So this is from our micromobility study. So as you can see where Neiman Williams Park is, the wooded trail would go to the right there of the, you see where the regular trail is in green at Neiman Williams. So the wooded trail is basically over here, and it would connect. Basically, you could connect from here to over here. So it would kind of be, as you're walking along the trail, you can go on an offshoot if you want through the woods, right? Then the part we're talking about connecting is up there. See that purple part right there? That's been identified because people are using that, and they're going through these streets, and it's kind of already being used in an unsafe manner. So the idea is to kind of improve that so that it's safe. And basically the end goal is you could get from Neiman Williams Park, you're going to pass the youth center. There's going to be bike lanes on there. So it's to make it safe. So there'll be bike lanes, signals, signage. It gets you from Neiman Williams Park through there. You can pass the youth center, and then ultimately you can get to the school without having to use a car or walk in an unsafe manner, or bike in an unsafe manner.
The whole plan, or can you?
We don't have to submit the whole plan, but this is a great opportunity to get that part funded.
The whole plan, does it disqualify the small part of the plan? Can they approve part of the plan?
They can. So basically, the other part of it is once you have your grant application, they schedule you for a county open space advisory committee meeting. You go there, you present it, and then while they're there, they'll ask you questions, and they might come back and say, we only want to fund one part, or they might say, yes, no problem, or they might say, no, come back with something else. So yes, they can do that. They can make amendments.
So I'll make a motion that we support what the Trails Advisory Committee is looking to do, and
I will
Recommendation to the council that we're supporting.
right.
I second.
Can we plant trees along the way so they have shade?
Absolutely, yeah, that's all. We can include that in the cost estimate for sure, yeah.
All right, we got a motion on the floor. Any discussion on the motion?
I second one now.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Says that most of this would be just along streets.
Some of it's along streets, yeah. The trail in Neiman Williams Park is an actual development of a trail. It's going to require permitting, construction, but yeah, then getting through is going to be mostly bike lane signage. But the good news is about this project too is it'll be easier for them to approve it, I think, because we have so much backup documentation to support it. We've had it studied as much as a place can be studied, probably.
Yeah.
So.
My only question was do you know that there's a neighborhood need for this or interest?
We do, yes. So as part of our studies, we spent a lot of time there throughout different seasons, different times. So, yep.
Yeah. And we plan on continuing that though as well, just because we do want to make sure that people who are living nearby are wanting this to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly.
All right, next on the agenda is the Pathways and Trails Advisory Plan, but I see it's going to be adopted tomorrow night, so.
Yes.
And we can move on from there.
Yep.
Next is the repair of the burp line, Pody.
So I emailed DPW, a few times before the meeting to ask, so when I emailed them 2 weeks ago.
Here we go again.
When I emailed 2 weeks ago, they said that they were ordering it, but that the final budget hadn't been the actual funds, I guess, hadn't been put in yet. So then I emailed them again and asked hey, I'm going to the meeting, I need to know. I have not heard back yet. I checked my email right before the meeting, but they have the supply list. They have me telling them to order it, and so.
They're waiting until it's 95 degrees.
I know, I'm sorry, Chris. Yeah.
Like in 2 days.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
So.
All right, so again, as we alluded to earlier, we got no respect or anything, not even the public, we can't get public to do squat for us. All right, Catalpa Park plan, we've already touched on that.
I don't have them.
Yeah.
Well, again, this would be something for the July meeting.
Correct.
Yeah, for the July meeting, put Catalpa Park plan and the park maintenance,
Right.
and that's it.
Those would
Yeah.
be the two main issues.
Have a sort of a special meeting, and
Got it, yep.
So the
we
Catalpa
can only
Park-
do that if Bob and the mayor are.
Right, that would be the point, is to having at least them there, if not
Right.
Ed also.
Okay.
But we have Carl?
Maybe get a
There's so
my security. Be a security guard.
So plans were updated and approved by council. Is that what you're saying?
They
did
put
it
out for
already.
bid. It's been put out
It's
for
already
bid
out there.
to build the park.
But we can't see them. But so it was at a council meeting?
Pardon me?
And- So it was at a council meeting and the public saw them?
I don't know.
It's
I
already out
wasn't
to
given them
bid. What are
either.
we commenting on? It's already too late to comment.
Well,
The idea is to bring up that we didn't get a chance to comment on the changes.
But we don't, I don't anticipate that the plans are gonna
Did
change.
Rex see it? Did Recreation see it?
Yes, Steve.
They have to.
Our rec advisory did see, I guess, a draft of those plans, but we didn't see.
How
them.
long ago was that?
Trying to remember which meeting it was. It wasn't our last meeting in June.
In this calendar year?
In this calendar year.
Okay.
It
But
was
that's how long
either,
he's been asking to see
it was either in April or May. I can go back and look in our
So
May.
that was probably before the council got to see them.
The council saw them, they voted on them, they went out to bid after our last meeting, right, that next council meeting. So it was a month ago. So yes, they saw them before the council did.
Right. But we didn't, because
didn't.
the council's supposed to see them before us.
Right. That's what we're told.
Right. For the first time ever.
Right.
But I don't anticipate that we're gonna look at them and go, oh no, this has to be there and it's gotta change. But it would be nice to actually look at them and see, okay. But if there's something incredibly glaring in it that we say, whoa, you guys missed this shouldn't be there, well,
We got our say on it.
we put our 2 cents in.
Right.
And if they wanna leave them the same, they can. Because just because something goes out for bid doesn't necessarily mean that those plans can't change.
But we need to see the plans before the next meeting, though, so we can review, you don't want to just show up to the meeting and start reviewing the
Well,
plans.
if that's possible for Tara to get them to us, to email them to us.
I've asked for them, yeah, and I have not been able to get them, but once I can, I absolutely will.
If they've been sent out for bid, the bidders the people that might be bidding on them have received them, so they've been sent out somewhere.
Well, it's probably on the
Is there a
website.
golden fountain in this thing? Why
It's probably on the website.
What about it?
If it's out to bid, it has to be on the website.
Okay.
Let's say RFPs.
Oh.
Here we go.
Catalpa Park, here it is.
Alrighty then.
6/9.
That's a bid, yeah,
But is there?
let's see.
So no, Trails has also been asking, that's actually, Catalpa is, Franklin Park Natural Area is my adopted trail. And so I definitely have been I've been asking Tara repeatedly, because I want to, when they're doing the trail design, I would like to have a say, and just share some input as well.
Sorry, let me just scoot and see if
Just
there's.
go all the way down, and so, keep going.
Page 92.
She's reading fast.
Bridge plan.
Precast culvert and specification submittal package. All right, that's for a culvert.
So is there a picture of an overhead view of where the cricket field is gonna go, where the tennis courts?
I don't know.
She's looking, she hasn't seen it, it hasn't coming up yet.
Wetlands.
I think I looked at the same thing and I don't think I saw that.
There you go.
Freshwater wetlands general permit plan. So this is for the, okay, well, there's some, but it's a wetlands
We
permit
did
plan.
review it once, at least once.
But it was a pre-plan, it
This,
wasn't
you
the
see,
final
Vanessa, just so
plan.
you know, this is like what we
Things
used
changed.
to do for neighborhood.
I think.
Okay, this is what I'm talking about. Yeah, this is like the first time I got a chance to show you it. Thank you.
I'm wondering
This
if
looks
it's here or
like
the
it's-
environmental commission. I don't know.
That's a good question.
Well, we don't know, if we did see him here and stuff like that, talked about it, was at the
Circles the cricket fields?
inception of this whole
Yeah,
thing.
cricket field.
And how many changes there were since that we didn't see?
I believe when we reviewed them, or maybe it was environmental that reviewed them, Dave just made the point that it might have been environmental. I believe, I'm not 100% sure, at that time, there might not have been, what's the new game?
Pickleball.
Pickleball.
Right, that's been added.
That was not,
Pickleball was not there.
that was
when
not
we
on the
reviewed
plan.
it, No.
See, these plans aren't really that good to look at for our purposes because they don't say what's what, because this is a wetlands permit. So it's showing like the wetlands boundary. We need like a site plan basically of it, but this
Yeah,
is,
exactly.
this is not like exactly, I mean, maybe it's in here somewhere.
Is it further down?
It could be,
Is it 415 pages?
probably.
By the way, the document you're showing tomorrow night, is that all done, like, is that like something that was built on over the years, or?
Yes, over many years, and you guys all reviewed it. Yeah, you all reviewed, so basically, let me just go back to that for a minute. So the Pathways and Trails Plan that was done in 2008, I learned basically that it wasn't brought to this committee, to the Open Space Committee, and I don't think the planning board got to it. I don't think it's ever been officially adopted, according to what I found out in Mark, as part of the master plan. The new plan, the Trails Committee worked on it, they incorporated the blazes and the signage and the trails field mapping and all that, and then we had to come here for comments. I got some great comments from Ted and from some other people too. And, now it's gonna go for the planning board for adoption, so, yeah, that's been in the works.
Yeah, I just sent a lot of comments to Tara and suggested that, we can bring these up, but it doesn't prevent the board from.
What happened?
We need an overview of what's gonna go where. I don't think you're gonna find it in those plans.
I don't think we're gonna find it in here either.
Well, you have it there.
Basically, there's the tennis courts.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't say what's what, you can kind of deduce,
You're only halfway through.
Looks like there's a lot more there than I remember from the
There is
previous.
a
What
lot.
point of reference? Where's the?
Let me see.
Remember
That's
also.
what Bob's saying with the maintenance and how expensive it's
Yeah.
gonna be. I get it now.
Yeah,
This is a lot.
it is a lot. I would recommend, if you guys are good with it, I would recommend you go home and look at it on the website, and if I can get paper copies for the next meeting, I absolutely will. I've asked,
Well,
so.
what we need a copy of is basically the overlay, like Arnie said, we wanna see what's gonna go where, how they're laying it out. We don't care too much about the grade and.
Yeah.
Right, just looking for, it can be a page this size, it just shows, pickleball courts are here, this is
Yeah.
here, this
Three
is.
pickleball courts here, 2 tennis courts there.
I don't care where the drainage is or.
Yeah, well, that's what these are.
Maybe we should, but,
They're- it looks
it's a
like, yeah.
matter
That's a more environmental.
of where are.
I would check it out,
where's
yeah.
What's the layout?
Okay. All right, the consultant's monthly activity report, anybody got any questions for her on that?
It's April and May, yep, just so you know, so there's 2.
My comment is, I don't know how she gets it all done. Having a father that's not well and,
Lord.
and kids in school and activities and me calling, bothering her all the time. All
I'm
right.
interested in this thing about request to connect severable exception area for the public sewer line.
Oh, yes.
Seems like that was a real pain.
It's ongoing, so that is the Preserves to Dam Farm. This is an interesting thing that happened. So
This
he's
is this guy.
He's
All
a
right,
preserved
listen to this.
farm, Sudam's preserved farm that was done by the county. The county is the easement holder from back in 2008. They took out severable exceptions at the same time that their farm was preserved, because the idea was that they would eventually separate those from the farm and it would be used for, the kids' housing or whatever. So now he wants to do that finally, because the kids are actually ready to, live in them. And when he contacted me, because it's a preserved farm, to be like, hey, can you figure out how I connect to the sewer line? So I'm like, okay. So I called the sewerage authority, and they're like, he can't connect to the sewer line because he's not in the wastewater management planning area, which I was like, yes, he is, because I was at the county and I remember that. But not only that, he wouldn't have been able to preserve it with those severable exceptions and showing it on the plan if he wasn't. So I went back and looked at that, and it's like, I don't get it, what's going on. So me and Mark kind of worked on it, and what we basically found out is that in 2011, NJDEP did like a bunch of removing properties from the wastewater management area, his property being one of them. So he was in the wastewater management planning area when he was preserved. He's no longer in the wastewater management planning area because NJDEP removed him from it. So the county is really the wastewater management planning agency for, everybody. And they're like, well, and understandably so, Franklin Township Sewerage Authority cannot connect the sewer if it's not in the wastewater management plan. They are not allowed. They can't do it. So I contacted the county, explained the situation. The county's position is basically they don't mind re-adding it back to the wastewater management plan, but he has to apply for it through DEP and go through the amendment process, so.
But he was never notified that it was taken out.
That doesn't seem right.
They did it apparently to a ton of properties. Actually, I'm pretty sure, I think it's I'm not sure if Catalpa, but one of our preserved properties was removed at the same time, so. Yes. So we're still working on it. The county's holding a meeting on June 3rd, so,
July 3rd.
I'm sorry, July 3rd, yeah, so I'll be there for that, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, that's that.
For the fireworks?
I'll be on vacation, yeah, I have to call in for it, because honestly, I'm scared to not be there, honestly. It's like, when I called the county to be like, are you serious? This doesn't seem right, because when you're preserved, especially, you're preserved in perpetuity, and like the way it is the way it is. And they're like, oh no, it doesn't matter, he still needs to apply for a wastewater. It's very rare to be a preserved farm and apply for sewer service, because that's development, so, yeah.
Yeah, somebody dropped the ball along the way, is what happened.
Well, DEP removed it, and they apparently did it to tons of properties across like Somerset County. Yeah.
Wow. All right, any more questions or updates from other committees real quick?
We have a firefly hike on Saturday, July 12th. So if anybody's interested in coming and checking out the fireflies at John Clyde, we're going to be doing.
I might, if it's not too hot.
What time of day is it gonna be?
It's going to be at 8 p.m.
I'm not being sarcastic.
July 12.
I'll take one. I sent my wife have a night by myself.
That's fun.
8 p.m. and then 9:30. I'm sorry, 8 p.m. 9:30. The astronomy club is going to be there to do observations. The environmental commission is going to be there and having a table because they're promoting the dark sky initiative, which is to reduce light pollution. So yes. So how long have we been doing this for now? Like 5 years?
Yeah. I think at least.
Yeah, I think so.
Because we started pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We took some of our 5-year-olds to grandkids to see them a couple of years ago.
Oh, good.
And they loved it.
Good.
We have some other things. Just we've been posting them on the township website through Parks and Recreation, which has been a great partnership for us. We had our National Trails Day hike on was the 7th, and we partnered with the Meadows for that. And they gave an outside tour of the
Diane Van Wickle,
Wickle House. We didn't have a great turnout. We never do on National Trails Day.
I know.
We had another hike on May 17th, we got a good turnout for that, but there's a lot going on National Trails Day.
What day is that again?
It's always the first Saturday of June, so this year was June 7th,
Well,
yeah.
graduation.
I know.
and-
The township had something going, I think a pride event going on at the gazebo here. There's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of good stuff going on, but, yeah, but we had that, and this is our next one coming up, and we have others in the wings as well, so it should, you should be able to find them anywhere you look.
One thing I wanted to bring up, when you talked about these other committees and stuff like that, I didn't meet, but I just noticed on our wall calendar in the barn that there's gonna be a barn talk at the Hegeman Barn, I believe this coming Saturday at 1 o'clock. A fellow who ages barns is gonna be there talking about the barns. And the reason I know about it is on our calendar, now something Meadows putting on, you see Meadows, again, we go back to Meadows, not promoting what they're doing. You know, wasn't for my nephew being involved in it, I wouldn't have never known it.
1 PM at the Hageman Farm?
I think so. If it's wrong, Arnie, I'll let you know, or I'll let you know, Terry, you can put it out to the committee, what
Okay.
exactly what's going on. But, because he's been at our place and aged our barn, he's gonna do some barn talk over there. How, why, I have no idea, but
Got
it is what it is. All right, next on is public comment. No motion to open to the public?
Motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor? Opposed?
Everybody but Chris Williams can talk.
Thank you, Chris. Good to see you again. Goodbye.
I have a couple comments. One is, our trees are dying. Maybe we can set up, adopt a tree program where volunteers can go out and water the damn trees.
We talked about it at Shade Tree.
Yeah. They never followed through, okay.
Well, they like the idea. It's a matter of, then you're depending on somebody to water a tree, and then a week later they miss it, and then another week goes by and they miss it. It's great to have it, but we really need to have a maintenance plan by the town. And if people want to water it on top of that, that's great.
Okay.
They talked about actually the possibility of, on Hamilton Street,
Right.
the shop owners watering those trees.
Right.
But is it their responsibility? And
But if they want it to look pretty and their place to look
Exactly.
pretty,
They
I
benefit.
think they would.
absolutely, you're right, but can you put that on them? Mary, I don't know if you have anything else to add to that?
I think it's just consistently, we can't really rely on agreements like that
Yeah.
with the public. Yeah, I think there's a lot of discussion about that. And with Hamilton Street, I think last year after we had the trees planted, we were very concerned about whether the trees are getting watered, and we checked, and we got feedback that yes, they're getting watered. I went out there with my finger and poked, and it was wet. So it seems like if we keep on top of it, the township, then they do. And with Connor especially, he cares about the trees, so he makes sure that these trees are getting watered. Hamilton right now is with the contractor's responsibility.
Right. And if those trees die within 2 years,
I thought it was
they
one
have to be
year.
replaced
It's
by
2
the
years.
contractor.
2 years now?
2 years, yeah.
2 years, yeah.
Oh, they took my advice.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Okay, the other thing is whenever we do get the wood, let me.
I will. You'll be the first person to know.
I'm not gonna go out there at night. There's two things. One is I haven't put any nails up real high because I was given orders by my wife not to climb a ladder if no one's there.
Right, yeah.
So I will need at least a spotter to stay there with me.
Yeah.
So when I go up to put the screws in higher, I can. There's enough screws, the wind will not take it away. There's so many screws in that thing. But I still have to do one side that I have to redo, and the trim and the floor.
Yeah.
The floor is a little wobbly, but if I get new plywood, I can just put it in
Absolutely,
there.
yeah. As soon as as soon as I get word, you'll be the first to know. So,
Okay.
yeah.
As long as someone expects me to go out there when it's 95 degrees out, because that ain't happening.
I get it.
What do you take a dip in a pond?
Yeah, cool.
If it's still there.
You fall off the ladder right in the pond.
Yeah, that almost happened.
Right, oh my gosh.
Speaking of the pond, does that pond, and I don't know if this is something that's done, does that need to be in a way, some of the grass, is anything removed from it because it's getting to be so
Dredged.
overgrown?
It's the whole thing is if you start going in there, you can go in there and mow them. that would be no problem. But you start digging it up, you've got frogs, salamanders, and other insects that are buried themselves in the mud for when the dry period happens.
What is your recommendation for that? Anything?
Just leave it alone. I mean, yes, you can go in there and mow it. We do have a problem with the cattails, and my recommendation would be to dig them up and move them over some. You know.
Did I hear you volunteer?
Me? Not necessarily.
How do you mow that in?
Well, you can only mow it if it's dry, and the grasses only grow when it's dry.
Right.
When it becomes, it's a vernal, the definition of vernal pond, ones that dry up during the summertime. That's what distinguishes vernal pond by the DEP. That, for the last couple of years, has dried up because we've been in a drought. Right now, it's to the brim. You know, and the outfall is what's keeping.
Chris, I haven't looked at it, the spillway, is there a way we can open that spillway up, or is it a permanent structure?
It's a permanent structure. I can't see right now where, if there's wood slots in it that you could pull out. But just leave.
Now we're managing a pond right now, not a vernal pond. That was the idea of making a vernal pond out of that. So I don't know if there was a way to lower the water at times like now.
I know a couple of years back we had the same thing. We had a very wet summer, and we kept the water in it all year round. It happens. The whole thing is as long as
would be in the woods.
Not necessarily. But yes, you're right.
Well, there's no inflow into the pond, right? So there's no way to really regulate it, right?
No, it's just whatever water flows in it to it
There's
from the
no
stream.
creek that you can dam
In
up.
fact, they can't
There's a small spring there.
Yeah.
There's a little spring there.
How's your rain pond doing up there? It's overgrown, isn't it? And
That's John
John Clyde, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's super overgrown.
yeah, it's
Oh, the
super
rain garden?
overgrown. They put a rain garden in, it's super overgrown because there's no maintenance.
Yeah.
So
Some plants have survived and others haven't.
Anything else, Chris?
no.
Okay.
Oh,
I just like to bring up that, and Dave and I were just talking about, there was a vernal pond in Middle Bush Park where the Little League field is on the right-hand side when you first drive up. But the Little League field is now there, and there isn't a vernal pond there anymore.
Isn't that Bobby
It's
Clark
center
softball
field now.
the center field gets soaked.
Well, second base did until recently that they had to regrade the entire thing. Like they literally, I mean.
Is that the softball field or the baseball field?
Softball field.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Chris.
Yep.
All right, there seems to be no other public comment. Motion to close public session.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? All right. All right, now we're gonna have to, we gotta go into executive session. Motion to go into executive session?
Motion?
Bye, guys.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And would be no other business handled after the executive session comes out?